Dennis here from the Convention of States. Here you're going to see today the full meeting from our regional virtual town hall for the Convention of States, held today, Saturday, February 13th, 2021. It's a long video, so you can skip around if you want, or have a watch party. Check the whole thing out.
Alrighty, here we go. First off, I'd like to welcome everybody to the meeting today, and our theme is Who Decides? We Decide. And we're going to start the meeting off here with an invocation from Donnie Rutherford. If you could unmute yourself and go ahead with that.
Oh, Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for the blessings that you give us. We thank you that we can work with the Convention of States and provide, we ask you to provide us with guidance on what we, the people, can do. And Lord, we just ask you to keep us on a narrow and straight path through the Holy Spirit. And Lord, we just thank you that everything we do is going to be for glory of you, not for our own self, to be glorified, but we want to be able to glorify you with trying to save our country from going down the wrong path. Keep it on a path that the founding fathers put into the Constitution, which they got from a lot of it from the Holy Bible. And Lord, we know that was your word, and we need to get back to your word. Lord, bless this meeting. Bless Dennis as he carries it forward in his districts. And Lord, we thank you for all the ones that's joined up with us, and may each one of us learn something today that we can better do our jobs. In Jesus' precious name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, Donnie. It's always nice to have you. And then next we're going to move into the national anthem. And I'm going to play one of my favorite artists singing the national anthem, and this goes back to 1984.
Jimmy Buffett.
This is for Steve Goodman. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail as the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red flare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. So our national anthem sung by...
Awesome. That was great. I always loved that rendition that Jimmy did. Alrighty, here's the agenda for today. You can see we got a lot going on here today. We're going to have our regional director, Jonathan Bogg, with us. We're going to have our state grassroots coordinator, Brenda Carlin. We're also going to have Lee Hydachuk, our SIA leader, with a little demonstration on how we can track the legislative things going on. And our follow-up team leader, Donnie, is going to give us a little talk. Then I'd like to introduce some captains to you. And then we're going to go through some information on how everybody can take action, and we'll have a question and answer at the end there. All righty? So at this point right now, I'd like to congratulate the team in Florida. There is no challenge that the Florida grassroots team cannot overcome. And we've grown to over 150,000 supporters here in the state of Florida, which I think is amazing. We're growing in leaps and bounds right now, and we can need all the help we can get. It's time for everybody to step up for liberty. So right now I'd like to introduce Jonathan Viaud. He's our regional director. He's in charge of all the past states, which we have 15 past states there. I put a little ring around him. He was just on the road here visiting other states. I believe this picture was taken up in Oklahoma. Are you there, Jonathan?
Yes, I am, Dennis.
All righty, take it away.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, everyone. Good to see such a large group of patriots here on a Saturday morning joining this call. Really appreciate everybody being here today. Dennis, I'm cracking up looking at that picture. Appreciate you circling me out there. But yes, I recently traveled to a couple of states, North Dakota and Oklahoma. North Dakota, we had a rescission effort that was going on there. In Oklahoma, I was there for their Surge Day as they try to repass the resolution there, because when it was passed in Oklahoma, there was a sunset clause attached to it that said if the convention does not take place by 2023, it comes off the books. So they're working to have that resolution passed again, just removing the sunset clause. And the gentleman in the center there is Rob Stanridge, who is one of our biggest champions in Oklahoma. In fact, if you're familiar with the book, what was it? Stopping the D.C. Monopoly, I think. I forget exactly how it's phrased. By Tom Coburn. Rob Stanridge is the gentleman who wrote the foreword for that book. And the other gentleman in the photo is the great state director of Oklahoma, John Ginn. It was wonderful getting out there and meeting with so many grassroots patriots in these states. And I just really enjoyed traveling and meeting the grassroots teams, but also the champion legislators that we have. And what it did was it reaffirmed for me two important things that we have to always remember. One, we have to continue to grow the grassroots army. We need to have as many people involved with this as we possibly can, because in order for us to get things done, whether it's protecting against a rescission effort or possibly going after some non-COS legislative proposals, we have to have a strong, educated grassroots army. And not only that, we need to have everyone preparing to embrace a culture of self-governance when we finally do have the convention. So it's important that we continue to build relationships, reach out to people, and grow the grassroots. But the other thing that's really important is we need to build relationships with our legislators. And this is at the very heart of self-governance, not just for COS-related things, but for things that are related to issues that are non-COS, right? Perhaps things that you may participate in outside of Convention of States. Really important that you constantly reach out to your legislators, develop relationships with them, because they're your representatives. And it's also important that we not just reach out to them when they do things that really tick us off, right? You know, we often complain about our legislators or reach out to them and say, what are you doing? Are you insane? How could you do this? But it's also good that we reach out to them and we give them a pat on the back when they do things that we appreciate. You know, pick up the phone and say, hey, thank you so much for voting on this. I really appreciate it. Or even just saying thank you for serving our community in the Florida legislature. All of that is really, really important. But it's also important that we build relationships with our local officials as well, whether it's school board, town council, mayor. We really need to make sure that our voice is heard in every phase of the process. And I think that's probably why we got into the trouble that we're in right now as a country. It's because we stopped participating. And that's self-governance in action. We need to make sure that our voice is heard. So those were some of the things that, you know, were learned or relearned for me when I was traveling. As far as the national update and everything that's been going on across the country, this week we had some ups and downs, but I overall think it was a very good week. So in North Dakota, as I mentioned, we were facing a rescission effort. That rescission effort was defeated on Tuesday by a 32-15 vote in the Senate. So that rescission effort has been defeated, and we don't have to worry about that until their next session, which I believe is 2 years from now. In Montana, you may recall a couple of weeks ago we had a committee hearing, and the committee voted on it not the same day as the hearing, but maybe a few days later, and they voted it down in committee. Well, we were able to do a procedural move where we were able to pull it out of committee to go to the entire Senate floor for a vote. And that vote happened this week. And unfortunately, we lost that vote by one vote. One senator switched at the last minute, and the resolution was defeated. But this is actually a really good thing. And you might say, well, Jonathan, we lost. How is it a good thing? Well, in Montana, we hadn't even come close to having a Senate floor vote or a floor vote in either chamber. And this year, not only did we get it up for vote in committee, we got it out and we came within one vote of passing. So that's really, really incredible progress by our Montana team. There's even a map going around. You may see it on Slack, or I think it may even be posted in a blog post that shows all of the areas that voted in favor of it, and overwhelmingly, the large amount of area in North Dakota voted for this thing. And it's just a few areas represented by some senators that voted against it. And I think that our team there is going to do a great job when we go back at this next legislative session. In Nebraska, we also had a committee hearing where we had a ton of patriots show up to testify. Between 18 and 20 people showed up just to testify in the committee hearing, which was wonderful. And in South Dakota, I think we also pulled it. We had lost the vote in actually, no, it came up for a vote. There was a vote in committee, and it was voted down, but we were able to refile and get it going there again in South Dakota, so we'll have another chance this legislative session to get it done. And we only lost by, I think, 1 or 2 votes in the committee hearing. So we're going to do everything we can to try to flip some people and change some minds and hearts, and we'll see where we can go. The resolution was also officially filed in Wisconsin this week. So we've got a lot of legislative activity going on across the country, really exciting. Yeah, I think that covers everything. So, Dennis, I will turn it back over to you.
All righty. Thanks so much, Jonathan. And I sent out a survey in my text blast and email blast for this meeting, and I received 129 comments and questions. And 30% of them, you just answered all of them. Most of the people are asking, what's going on? What are we doing? How does it look for us in the future with the Convention of States? Jonathan, could you just quickly give us a little synopsis of where you think we're going right now this year? Do we have a chance of snowballing or what?
We do. We are very active in a lot of states, and I think that there are still going to be some that have passed. We've had some early disappointments for sure. You know, we thought we were looking better in South Dakota and even Montana. So these are some minor setbacks, but they're still we still haven't even really scratched the surface in terms of our legislative session. We still have North Carolina to come, South Carolina to come. Obviously, Wisconsin passed, and filed. It had passed in the House in the last legislative session. We're close there. There are a lot of states that still haven't come up in their sessions yet that we look really good. So there's still a good chance for us to add a couple of states this year, if not more. So we look really, really good this year, and I'm excited to see where we can go as more sessions start to get underway.
All righty. Thanks so much for the update, Jonathan. That answers a lot of people's questions.
You're very welcome.
Now we're going to move along, and I'd like to ask everybody to check your microphone, your mute. There's some background noise, and I have it set for everybody to be muted, but I have a feeling somebody unmuted themselves. It seems like you're moving stuff around on your desk or something like that. So if you could all please just check that out so that we can move forward. Our next guest here this morning is our awesome state grassroots coordinator, Brenda Carlin. And this is a picture of her when she was up in at the Rally for Tally last year up at the Tallahassee. And we all got together and met with legislators and stuff up there. And we might have something like that coming up this year. There's a lot of different things that are being taken into consideration with having a rally in Tally right now because of the COVID. Alrighty, so Brenda's out there. I have a little presentation of hers. Are you there, Brenda?
I am. Good morning, Dennis, and good morning, everyone. Welcome to this call. I appreciate the time so much. I was asked today to talk about how to locate your state legislator. And like Jonathan mentioned, one of the things that we're trying to do, or what we're working hard to do, is grow the grassroots, but also to reinforce our relationship with our state legislators. And so I'm going to just share with you today how you can locate who your state representative is, who your state senator is, and how to contact them. So Dennis, if you'd like to move to the next page, please. You go onto the internet and access myfloridahouse.gov, and this is the representative website. And at myfloridahouse.gov, you can go ahead and go to the next slide. You will go to Find My Representative. It's right there in the middle of the page. It says Find My Representative, and you click on that. Go ahead and go to the next slide, Dennis. And on the next slide, or on the next page on the website, you enter in your address. And it's important that you enter in your full physical address so that the system can locate your exact representative. Yes, you have to answer, put a check mark that you're not a robot. You might have, we've seen that before in other sites. But just go ahead and do that, and then go ahead and click on Find Your Representative. So Dennis, next screen, please. At this point, your representative will show up, and not only will your representative show up, in this case, this is my representative, Mr. Jason Schoaf, but your state senator also shows up. And in addition, if you want to go to the next page, Dennis, you can see your congressional representative and state senators. So go ahead to the next slide, please. Now, if you're wanting to know your state senator, you can. The Senate has a website itself. It's floridasenate.gov, and it's similar. It's just realigned a little bit differently. But at this point, go ahead and go to the next slide. You click on Senator and go to the next slide. You'll see a pull-down menu. Go back just one, Dennis. Sorry. You'll see a pull-down window, and go ahead and select Find Your Legislator, and go ahead and go to the next slide. You can go, yeah. And at here, you just enter your address in the middle of the screen. And next slide, Dennis. And your state senator will show up. Unlike the representative page, which displays all of your state and federal U.S. Representatives, the Senate site only displays your senator, and then it gives you links to your representative and to your senator. So you can go to the next page. For our district captains and volunteers that are already in our system, have signed up for a role, we have a couple of links that you can access, and those links are displayed there. And when you access those links, you can sort by district. So it's another way to look for your representative. You can sort on the name or the district or the party to locate your representative. Go ahead, Dennis, next slide. On the Senate side, you can sort it another way. There's a little sort window to the right, and there's filters. So in the middle of the screen, you can filter it by your district, or by the name, or by the party. You can go ahead and go to the next slide, please. And so that is essentially how you locate your representative or state senator on the respective websites. It's fairly easy and fairly intuitive. And what we're wanting to know when we talk to our representatives with respect to Convention of States is whether or not they support us. If they oppose us, we'd like to be able to have the opportunity to answer their questions. And if they don't know anything about us, we'd like to have an opportunity to help educate them about that. So that's my message for this morning. That's how you find your representative. And most people, when you ask them, you know, do you know who your representative is, they will more than likely say their U.S. representative, not their state representative. So as we've seen, you know, with this election and with things going on, our state legislators are key to retaining our liberty. And we need to make sure that they understand what their role is relative to the Constitution. So thank you for attending this call, and if anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
All righty. Well, thanks very much, Brenda. That's great. And Jonathan touched on it a little bit. We're going to be doing supporting some non-COS actions in the Tallahassee legislature this year. So that there's some of them up there already that we're pointing at that we're going to try to do something about. And it's okay for us as a past state to support or not support certain legislation in the House as long as we get approval from our national team. We have a whole team that's looking at all the different stuff in the states and making sure that we can put our support where it's needed. And with that in mind, my next guest here is Lee Hydachuk. He's our state SIA guy, and here's Lee. He's got a frown on his face because of all the stuff I had to send him this week to fix. We had a tough week with this. There's so much going on that people get a little confused and stuff like that. But anyway, Lee's got a small presentation that he wants to show everybody. I believe it's on how to track the legislation that we are involved in. And we're going to try something that I haven't done on one of these meetings yet. I'm going to let Lee share his screen as soon as I can find Lee here. Bear with me for a moment, and I'll get him up on here. Are you here, Lee?
I'm here.
All righty. Trying to find your name here so I can swap the screen over to you. Huh. You're incognito. There we go. I got you there, Lee. I'm going to switch presenter to you. And yes. Okay, we're getting there. All righty. I believe you've got it now.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. What a crowd. My goodness. I had no idea it was going to be this bad or this good. Can everybody see my screen? You should be looking at the Florida House of Representatives screen. Can you see it, Dennis?
Yes, I can see it, bud.
All right, we're good. I'm starting out with just a generic window that most everybody would view when they come in. And traveling around throughout the system, often we see things that we would like to be reminded of. And the Florida House system has a marvelous tool, and it's called tracking. But it cannot be initiated unless you actually have an account with the myfloridahouse.gov. And we have if you look up here, we have a tracking link. And for some reason, it is not responding.
Ain't technology grand?
I think what I have done is I have actually
I like
This
the
is
kitty
interesting.
cat.
My browser has just decided to quit. Let me just start a new one. All right, can everybody see this blank?
Yeah.
All right.
You're going incognito again, huh?
Yeah. All right. So we have this tracking link here. So what we need to do is create an account. And there is something going on here that I don't understand, Dennis. It is showing my browser, but I think it free conference call is jumping up in front of it and not letting me get to it.
Huh.
All right, there we go. Let's do it this way then. All right. It is really acting up.
I know free conference calls sometimes have some problems in the background. It slows everything down for sure.
Well, I don't know what's happening, but it's not responding. It's not responding on the window that I have chosen to share. It's responding somewhere else. It's misbehaving. I may have to let me just shut everything down and come back. Sorry about this, folks. It's as Dennis says, this is the first time that we've tried to share screens across from free conference call. So Dennis, I don't know what's happening here, but free conference call is just not allowing me to get to my screen.
Well, not a problem. You could just, maybe if you could just explain what it is, that would work.
Let me just look at one other thing here. No. All right, I'll tell you what. If you want to open your browser and open it up, and I'll walk you through it.
All righty, let me see if I can get the screen back from you now. All right.
Okay, I stopped on this end.
Okay.
We'll have to get together one day and experiment on this. This is the first time we've ever tried it with free conference call.
Yeah, I practiced it and it worked, so I don't know what's happening over there. Okay.
Well, I tried to share my second monitor so that I didn't have to, play the game of popping things up and down and up and down, and that's usually the way I do it. But now that I've quit sharing, I have access to that screen.
We'll have to work on that.
The conference call was just not letting me have it. There you go. All right, if you just want to open up your browser and go to myfloridahouse.gov, and I'll walk you through it real fast.
Okay. So, what's the link there?
myfloridahouse.gov.
Oh.
Have you got an account on there, Dennis?
No.
Okay. Well, maybe we can we can go ahead and create one for you. This would be a good exercise. Okay, you're going to want to click on the tracking menu selection up there.
Okay.
And it's going to open up a window and ask you to sign in or If not, if you don't have a sign-in, it's going to ask you to create an account. So you're a new user. If you'll go down to the box that's just the bottom left-hand corner of the white panel there. And there's quite a bit of information that they're going to ask for, and those that you'll notice with the red asterisk in front of it, those are required fields. They must be filled out. All of the additional fields are optional, so if you don't want to take the time to complete them now, you can always come back and edit your profile and do this. No, you don't want to show that.
Right.
Everybody should be able to. I see you use LastPass. Good choice. I live with that thing.
Yeah, I like the LastPass. All right.
The beauty of it is you can take it anywhere with you on any device.
That's what's beautiful about LastPass. I use it on my phone, my iPad, the computer.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now what will happen, username is registered. What did that message say?
Please choose another.
Well, that means username. No, your username, not your first name.
Oh.
You put Dennis as your username.
Oh, here we go.
Don't you have a CD handle or something like that?
Yeah. Well, I am a regional captain and a district captain, but I was a sea captain for 30 years. So
okay, so your account now has been created, and you're going to get an email at the address that you used to actually activate the account. If you want to do that now, we can walk through it. And it really is probably not a bad idea, because your view of the legislative items that you can access in, for instance, your legislators, your bills, your committees and everything, the view will change considerably when you invoke tracking. And all you have to do is just click that link, and that tells the system that you're a real person. It's a real email address. And so now you can go back to tracking and sign in. So here you'll enter your username. That was Captain Dennis.
Looks like I did have another account, but that's okay.
There you go. And you can, nope. Sign
no,
in.
No, don't do it.
There you go.
It's nice when you can see somebody making a mistake, right, Lee? When you're working with somebody and you can't see their screen, you're like, what did you do? Okay, go ahead.
Now here, in your tracking system, there's a bunch of different options that you can set up. It would be too lengthy to go through that today, but once you've created your account, you would like to go back through there, and you can add a lot of things from here. But rather than go through here, what I'd like to do is scroll all the way back up and select bills. Okay, notice that you got a couple of search criteria that you can enter here. They're really filters. If you want to just look for House bills, you can check the House, the Chamber House. If you want just the Senate, you can do that or do both. Typically, I just leave it both. And just start scrolling down. You're going to virtually see everything. Now, here's something that a lot of people get tripped up on. I know I did big time. At the very, very top there, you see the selected viewable bill ranges. They'll get a number of bills in there, and your viewport window right now is only looking at 0001 through 62. If you'll drop that window, you'll see what's there. That's the number of bills that are in there. So if you know the bill number and you want to find it in here, you'll have to go select that view range to find it. But that's not the purpose for today. Let's just scroll down a little bit. And the HR1 is one that we've been talking about that is of interest. And go back. No,
I accidentally clicked on it.
Just go back up one. You can add it. One of the nice features, and I do like it, is you can notice there it says add to tracking, but you can add the bill to tracking in a variety of places. But just scroll back up here, and see there on the right-hand side, along side of the HB1, combating public disorder. See the button out to the right. It says track the bill. Okay, so just click on that. And now when you come in, you'll notice that that is a bill that you're tracking. So when something occurs with this bill, you'll be notified by email. Okay? So the next thing you might want to look at is scroll back up. And let's go to representatives. So, find your representative, Dennis.
You want me to
see
find
if
my
what Brenda told us really is true.
Did you want me to do this?
Yeah, find your representative. If you know who it is, just go find him. If you don't, then you can do a search.
Well, I know who it is, but we'll do this just for...
Okay. Okay.
And I'm definitely not a robot.
Yeah, but it doesn't know you're not.
Yeah. All right, there we go.
Okay. Now, if you pull up the full detail, and then you see there underneath his picture, it says add to tracking.
Aha, there you go.
Okay, so now what this will do, any activity from your legislator, whether it be a co-sponsor a bill or adds a new bill of his own, you will be notified of that activity by way of email. Mm-hmm. So I always like to add my representatives to my tracking. Okay, now let's go back to the bills. Just click on bills up there. And pick your HB1 and just open the bill. Just click on the title over there, HB1. There you go. Now scroll down a little bit. And let's notice the committees that this bill has been assigned to have to pass through in order to just scroll down. Keep scrolling down. No, you went past it. All right, there's your committees that it's going to have to pass through. You got criminal justice, you got judiciary, and justice appropriation subcommittee. So if you open up those committees,
Want me to open one?
Yeah, go ahead. Just open it up. And notice that you can add that committee to your tracking list so that if that bill moves into a committee or something and that committee is going to come together, you'll get a notice of when that is and different information. I was prepared to show you what that looks like, but just suffice it to say that you'll be notified by email of committee activity. And typically a bill going into a committee, you'll get about a week or so notice. So you have time to respond to things that might interest you. But that it may be a virtual hearing or it may be in a committee right there in the building. Your notice will tell you that. And that really basically covers all of the different tracking scenarios. So it's just a matter of you kind of sorting through it and just see how comprehensive you want to follow the system or just how sparsely. But whatever interests you, just, be assured that you can set it up where you will be kept, you'll be notified and kept informed of the activity that interests you. So beyond that, we're pretty much covered the tracking system.
All righty.
If anyone has any questions and Dennis wants to play the role, we can certainly entertain them.
Yep. When we get done with the next couple presentations there, we'll open it up to questions and answers. And that's a great tool for everybody to pay attention to what they're looking for. But just a caveat is that if you're speaking to your representative or you're speaking to the chairman of a committee or something like that, make sure you're doing it on a personal level and check with your COS representatives if we are engaging any particular bill, and we'll have certain guidelines that we need to go by. So let's all pay attention to that because we're nonpartisan and we are only going to be approaching bills from COS that are approved by the national group there. All righty. Well, thank you very much, Lee. That's great.
You're welcome, sir.
I always learn something when Lee's around, that's for sure. All righty. Let's go back over here. Get rid of these. And my next guest here is our follow-up team leader, and that's Donnie Rutherford. And here he is working at the state fair last year. Donnie is active in everything we do. He's a state leader. He's a district captain. He was essential in putting together the fair last year, and he's always been around. He's a great guy. That's him right there wearing the flag. He's a good guy.
Well, thank you for all that wonderful greeting that you gave me. I do appreciate it. And I just want to say that from a standpoint of what we're doing in the follow-up too, we are the welcoming people, and everybody gets involved in that, from district captain to regional captains, and we have district follow-up people, statewide follow-up people. So we're getting a real match of people that can take on the load that we have. And for the last 2 weeks, we've processed over 800 people during the week, or we've completed them. That don't mean that they all been processed, but we've completed that many. A couple of weeks ago, we did have a change in what we needed to do, particularly with the ones that we were opting out. Most of you remember, we were forced to opt people out because they didn't want emails, or it said did not want email blast. So this past week we got with Brenda and Lee, and we come up with, Lee put this chart together for us, and I wanted to explain it to everybody because now we can try to save some of those that we were losing. We were losing patriots, we were losing petitions because they wasn't signed or didn't have the correct address in there. We've now designed it to where we won't use opt-out anymore. We want you to use a new follower-up. If he's got a good email, then you would go ahead and do the required processing that you would do. If he has a bad email, then you're going to go over and do two things. You're going to send him a welcome letter, the U.S. thank you, and in it you won't say, I thank you for signing the petition, but you will ask him, please sign the petition, because in the national welcome it will identify the fact that maybe he didn't sign the petition. If he didn't, that's fine. If he did, that's fine too. That's the first letter that will go out. If it's a good address, then you would do processing as you normally would. If it's a bad address, in other words, no house number, no street, a post office box, then you're going to go to the next line, which is in brown. You're going to select address correction request and send the subject would be Convention of States, Florida. Please verify your address. And most of the time they won't have anything in there except their city and their state, which is Florida, always Florida. So we just have the city, so it's not a good, a bunch of those are not good. In fact, this week we had something like around 200 that we worked in this particular fashion. And the next thing you would do after you send that address completion, you send it, you go to tags and you put the Florida-bad tag in tags and update that. And then if you need to add any notes, which we decided that we didn't really need it unless there's some reason it's obvious what's wrong with it, but if there's something else like the address just won't match up, if you were checking it and it couldn't give you the person's name and address, you might put that in. But at this particular place, it wouldn't be appropriate to even do that. Just mark it bad and then mark it complete, and you're done with it. You don't have to worry about coming back to it. You've done what you needed to do with that person. This means that maybe we can save a patriot and we can save a petition. And now we've had some this past week. We've had several that has come in. We've notified them, let's say at 8, 9 o'clock at night. And next morning when I get back on my computer, there's their answer back to the bad address. So it is working. And you might say, well, what happens to that? Well, it doesn't come back to you that submitted it. If we get the correction back, the record is archived at National so that no one can come back and say that we changed the address. We are not allowed to change the address on our own. They have to give us permission. This is the way they give it to us. From a standpoint of who does the work when it comes back, we have a young lady that has volunteered to help us with this, and the three of us, me and Grassroots Coordinator Brenda, we will work as a team to make sure that the addresses get corrected, and if there's any more emails that needs to be sent to them or follow up, then we will do that. We will remove the Florida bag tag, and if there's any notes been made, we will remove them. And this clears this one up and saves this particular person that we might have lost if we had not went this route. At first, you know, I'm just like everybody else. I hesitated to change, but then I found that this thing works, and it is easier on us than I thought it would be. So I'm asking everybody that does do follow-ups, if you have a bad address, please follow this layout here of sending the U.S. thank you, then ask for the correction on the address, because if it's a bad address, it's not going to make it to Tallahassee. It won't get to the representative. And this will fix the problem if they want it to be fixed. Otherwise, they just wasted their time and ours too, and we don't want to do that. We want to try to save it. If it's a patriot, he's going to come back and give us the answers that we need so we can move forward. And I do appreciate this time that I could explain this to you. And I thank Lee for helping us, and I thank Brenda for pulling us together and getting a system set up that we can use, and I think all of us will profit from us in the long haul. And I thank you for letting me be part of your meeting this morning, Dennis.
All righty, great, Donnie. Donnie's always got some good information for us. And the importance of the good addresses for us is twofold. Donnie mentioned about Tallahassee. It identifies who your representatives are, and when you sign the petition, it automatically sends letters to the House of Representatives and the Senator in your district. That's really helps out that way. And also, the other reason for a good address, and I just lost it off the top of my head. You got anything? But anyway, the addresses are extremely important. Identifying your house district, and that way we can identify what house district you're in also. All righty, thank you so much, Donnie. And if anybody's got some questions for him later, we're going to be opening up for questions and answers later on. Okay, now we're going to be moving on here. The key to our success is mobilizing the largest grassroots army ever. And it's extremely important. Our district captains are one of the most important roles we have here at the Convention of States. The district captains are on the front line of everything there. And I do have a few of the new district captains here today, and I'm going to try to identify them here, and we'll get them each to introduce themselves here. Okay. Everything's rolling a little slow here. Let me see. I got to scroll down through the people, see who's here. Okay, we have Jean Borden here. Jean, if you'd like to unmute yourself and introduce yourself to the people here, go ahead.
Hi everyone, I'm Jean Borden. I've been actively fighting for constitutionality since 1978, and as I've gotten older, I was looking to align myself with the group that actually had enough people in it to actually make a difference. And that's why I got involved with Convention of States.
All righty. Well, thanks for stepping up, Jean. Jean's really got into it. She's been completing her stuff 1, 2, 3. I love that. Thanks so much, Jean. We also have, and Jean's over in House District 53, I believe, right? I think so. Anyway.
Correct. I'm in 53.
Right. Okie doke. Great. We also have Jean Marie Thrower here. She's from District 69 down in St. Petersburg. Jean, you want to say something?
Hi. Yeah, I'm Jean Marie Thrower in the St. Pete Beach, St. Petersburg area, and I'm also a small business, women-owned, veteran-owned small business owner. And I've, obviously as a veteran and patriot, wanted to find a way to get involved, and this is my opportunity to try to impact change and pull people together and use my networking abilities to increase our numbers and make sure that our voices are heard not only in Florida but around the whole country.
All righty. Thanks so much, Jean. Jean's also doing a great job down there in District 69. Also from over on the Atlantic coast, we have Adrienne Davison. She's the district captain in House District 51. Go ahead, Adrienne.
Yep. Hi, everyone. I got involved with the Convention of States because originally I have a son that's 6, and with everything going on in the world, I started to be more proactive in the Constitution and our freedom and rights. And I went to the Patriot Academy to learn more about the Constitution and got connected over with this organization and the tools that they have available to make things happen are user-friendly, and I've enjoyed the people I've met so far, and I'm kind of had a little break here with being sick, but I'm hoping to get back on board and recruit some more, and I'm over in the Space Coast area, yeah, in District 51.
All righty. Thanks so much, Adrienne. And
Thank you.
We've got a lot of people that are enthusiastic and stepping up for liberty right now. Now, we have a lot of people on the phone that I can't identify. Are there any other captains out there that would like to introduce themselves? And you don't have to be from Region 6 or 7. If you're here from another region, you can go ahead.
Hey, Dennis. This is Jim Manning in Winter Haven, Florida, and former small business owner, Air Force veteran, corporate leader, and am excited to be part of the team.
Awesome. And I think you're in the leadership management tool right now, Jim. We're going to get you going. All right. Sounds good. Anybody else out there? All righty. That's good. Okay. We're going to move forward here then. And we want to just go over how you can take action. If you're not already involved with us, just go sign into the conventionofstates.com website. And right there in the middle on the top menu is a Take Action tab. Go ahead and click that tab and it'll bring you to a screen like this. And here you can join a volunteer team. You can become a leader like a district captain, or we're always looking for follow-up team members. We're looking for content writers, videographers, you name it. We've got a place for you in our mission. You can also register for the everyday 7 o'clock at night webinar if you want to introduce people to the Convention of States. You can use this webinar, give them the link for that. And then you also have the link where you can find your legislators and you can send a letter to them right straight out of the system. So that's how you would take action and get involved with the Convention of States if you're not already involved. A couple quick announcements here. The Tampa Bay Trump Club is going to be meeting again on Tuesday, February 16th. And their whole theme is, where do we go from here to save our republic? And we've been asked to put on a presentation for the people. I have spoken to this group 3 other times last year, and it happens down at Muggs Sports Bar in Clearwater. It's a great event. They usually have quite a few speakers. They're giving everybody a 10-minute slot this time, so we'll have a lot of time to explain stuff. We're also going to have a table with petitions and information, handouts, and stuff like that. So it'll be a great time for you to meet other Convention of States members, because we'll be set up over in the corner, and also to listen to what's going on, how other organizations are going to be approaching this. So we hope to have a great night. It starts at 6:15 and goes to about 8:30. So it's a great meeting. Come on out and join the team. I also want to just remind everybody that if you're shopping on Amazon, get the Amazon Smile Prime and then set it up with Convention of States Foundation is who you would be supporting. And they have already collected over $15,000 through the years for our movement. And it's only a little bit that each person contributes, but when you have 1 million supporters, if everybody contributes $1 of their Amazon Smile thing, it's a lot of money that our organization will have. So just keep that in mind and share that information with your friends and family also. It'll help us get through the operation here. Now, I mentioned it when Jonathan was speaking. I had 129 questions from the survey, and I want to go through a couple of them. A lot of them were repeat questions. A lot of people are concerned about what's going on. The biggest, most popular question was the one that Jonathan gave us the information about what's going on in the country. The next most popular question was, how many states do we already have? And that's 15 right now. And we maintained that with putting down the rescission effort there in North Dakota, I believe it was. And we need 19 more states. And there's 35 states left. Out of the 35 states, there's 29 of them that have something going on in their legislature, whether it be in committee, be proposed, or be already up in one of the houses or past one of the houses. But we have a lot of movement going on there. Another real popular one was, can we impose term limits? And that's one of our main focuses. I believe we know that Washington, D.C. is not going to do that themselves. So this is the tool. Article 5 was given to us by the framers in our Constitution so that we can rein in the out-of-control government, And term limits, I believe, would change the face of D.C. very dramatically. And another one, which, you know, was how do we regain our democracy? And this is it, Article 5. That's how we can bring the power back to the states, and that's how we can save the republic. Let's all remember that we're a republic. We're a democratic republic, not just a democracy. And then someone was asking how do they get access to other patriots, and that would be by joining our group. Sign up and at the very least join a team, become a volunteer, and you'll get connected with everybody. And by paying attention to our emails and stuff, we've been having these virtual meetings for almost 18 months now, every month. It's every second Saturday of the month at 11 a.m., so you can mark your calendars for that. We'll be continuing to do that, and as soon as restrictions loosen up, which I'm going to be seeing what's going on down here at Muggs on Tuesday, how they handle that. They weren't 100% sure how they're going to do it. I have been at previous meetings there where there were 200 people there and it was standing room only, so it's going to be interesting to see how they do that. Now, someone also asked who decides in each state to have the COS resolution, and that's the House of Representatives or the Senate. One of them has to propose the resolution. So it's your representative or your senator that has to help propose the legislation. Now here in Florida, we are a pass state. So our mission here is to continually engage with the legislature to let them know for the support we have for this mission. As you know, in Florida here, we have term limits in Tallahassee. And I believe I just heard yesterday that there's nobody left in the House of Representatives that voted for our resolution. So it's imperative that we get actively involved with the legislators now to keep them apprised of all the support for the Convention of States. And also, the legislature is going to be who decides who goes to the convention. At the convention, there is only one vote per state, but we can send 2, 3, 5, 6 representatives, but they only get one vote altogether. And by law, they have to vote the way the state legislature impels them to. Another question was, why hasn't this happened yet? And that's a really good question. There's several reasons that I see in my mind why it hasn't happened yet. We were moving really pretty quick during the Obama administration. We were doing pretty good because people were against that. When Trump came into office, I think people got a little complacent, thinking that Trump had the ability to change everything. And one man can't. We need the people to stand up and make this change. And we are looking for a snowball effect to be going on here. Like we had 3 very active things going on in the last couple of weeks. We're scheduled down the road during all these House sessions to be talking about this with many different legislatures. Alrighty, and one person just said, what is the Convention of States? And that's all. What it is we're all about an Article 5 convention. And I wanted to bring it up because I want you people to get used to saying it's an Article 5 convention. It's not a constitutional convention. There was only one, and there should only ever be one constitutional convention, and that was in 1787. This is an Article 5 convention. This is the same article that Congress uses to make an amendment. They have the same guidelines. They have to get 2/3 of the House and Senate to approve a proposed amendment, and then it goes back to the states. That's what our convention would be doing, was proposing amendments. Then it would have to go back to the states for a supermajority to ratify it, and that's 38 states. And the beautiful thing about that is somebody proposes legislation you don't like, or amendments that you don't like, you only need 13 states to put it down because of the supermajority. They would have to get 38. And in the updates on the other states, Jonathan went through that. So now I'll open it up to, oh, wait a minute, I've got another question here. Somebody, yes, I wanted to address this one. Are we trying to be the next political party? And the answer to that is no. We want to engage people as self-governing citizens, no matter what party you're in. Let's all take the responsibility to stand up for ourselves again. And it's okay to have differing opinions. Not everybody's going to agree with us. So we don't want to be called a political party at all. We are a we the people grassroots army trying to bring the power back to the states. And then there was just a brief comment which I wanted to mention because it was interesting. One person said to me as a comment that a convention of states should be every few years to prevent the runaway tyrannical government from going unabated. And that's a possibility that I hadn't thought of. It would be a way to keep a cap on people. So think about that. And now I'll open it up to questions from the crowd here. You'll have to unmute yourself, and please, everybody, keep yourself muted while questions are being asked. And if any of the other leaders are still here and want to try to answer something, let me know. So does anybody have a question at the moment?
Yeah, Dennis. This is
yeah,
Rick.
go ahead. Go ahead, Mark.
This is Rick. Yeah. Hey,
Oh, okay.
I noticed you mentioned that we could email or write our legislators from the Take Action tab.
Uh-huh.
And that takes you to leader applications. If you want to contact your legislators, I think you have to do it from within the system if you're assigned a cost action email only. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I tried to do that from within the system. I have to use my own private email for now until I get a cost action email.
Right. Well, it'd be hard to do it from the system unless they were registered in our system. I know that tab just brings it to give you the incentive and the ways to do it.
Yeah.
So thanks for bringing that up.
All right.
Anybody else?
Dennis,
Okay,
Dennis,
go ahead.
it's Brenda.
Go ahead, Brenda.
To answer the question that was just brought up regarding that tab, probably for anyone who is not yet signed up or has an account with Convention of States, like I mentioned earlier, the best way and quickest way to reach out via email or writing your representative is to go to myfloridahouse.gov or to floridasenate.gov. And those two links will take you through, like we demonstrated earlier, and you can contact your representative. They have the links to do that, and it's in a form, and it's very easy to follow.
Awesome. Okie doke. That's how you'll contact your legislators. Do we have another question at all? I'm going to be looking at the chat here and see if anybody put a question in chat. So is everybody going to come out to the meeting on Tuesday night? If you live in Pinellas County there, you should come on over to Mugs. The more COS people we have there, the better it'll be.
I'll be there, Dennis. It's Jean Marie. I'll be there.
Awesome. Okay, I don't really...
Dennis, is that meeting posted in the events channel?
Not as of yet. Okay, I was going to check to see if we... I think I did post it in the events channel, just the meme. I didn't put it on our calendar, is what it is, because it's not a COS event.
Yeah, if it's in the calendar, that makes it easy to get to. Thanks.
Is it okay to put non-COS stuff on the calendar?
Why do you call that non-COS?
Right.
You're there, aren't you?
Yes, I will be.
Well, then it's COS.
Yep. Okay. I see some people want to thank George Mason and Thomas Jefferson for adding Article 5 to the Constitution. Somebody said all evil needs to succeed is for good men to do nothing, and that is so true. And Somebody mentioned that the constitutional republic is what you want, that democracy is really mob rule, and that's so true. And okay, I don't see any other questions there. Does anybody else have a question or comment they want to make before we get out of here? Okay, I want to thank everybody for coming.
This is Adrienne. There's quite a few questions in the comments on the, in the comment area. I didn't know if you wanted to look at them really quick.
Yeah, I was going through it. Did you see one that you were?
Oh, I didn't hear you answer the. Do we have a Facebook page? Or we do have a Facebook, but I guess I didn't think you answered that last one, which was well, I guess I lost that spot. Maybe it was up earlier. Never mind. That's fine.
Okay. Yeah, we do have a legislative liaison up in Tallahassee, if that's what you were asking about, that is watching all that. I was going through the quick here. There's a lot in chat there.
Okay, never mind. We're good.
Dennis, this is Gene Borden. One of the questions was, when and where would a convention be held? Any idea?
More than likely, well, it will be up to the states to decide that. Once we have the right to have a convention, that's when that stuff is all going to come about. And it's up to the states, not the federal government. Do any of the leaders have something to say about that?
No, that's a good question. But if you're interested in seeing how a simulation, or how a convention of states might occur, just go to conventionofstates.com and sign in. And the top right-hand corner, you'll see it says simulation. And grab a bag of popcorn and your favorite beverage. It takes about 2 hours, but it's fascinating. It involves actual legislators, and there isn't a set time and day, but as soon as we had enough states, then I'm sure that would be decided as to where that would be done.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you. I think that answered the question that I had in the chat.
All right.
Hey, Dennis, this is Rick again. Someone asks, when is the next meeting? And I want to congratulate you. This is a great presentation. And I would like to know when you plan to have another one, too.
Yeah, we have these meetings every second Saturday of the month, okay? So I'd have to look at the calendar to see when the next one is. And I don't think I have my calendar up.
Dennis, it's March 13th would be the next.
Oh, all right. Okay. March 13th. We're going with the 13s in a row here. February 13th and March 13th. And that'll be a virtual meeting in March, and we'll see where we're going with that. We're getting wound up to have a live meetings in the future here, and we will have one on the West Coast for Region 7, and we'll have one over on the East Coast for Region 6. So we'll have live meetings going as soon as we can. Anybody else got anything? We'll leave you with this one quote by Benjamin Franklin. Any society that would give up a little liberty to gain temporary security will deserve neither and will lose both. And that's to the bank of what's going on right now. So thank everybody for coming. I really appreciate you showing up. It was a great showing, and we'll have that next meeting on March 13th. We'll be over at Muggs on Tuesday night. If you have any questions or comments, you can reach out to any of us leaders. You can find us on the Convention of States website. Go up to your profile button up on the top and scroll down to Leaders Directory, and you'll see everybody there. Alrighty, well, thank you all for coming, and we'll talk to you again. Have a great day.
Thank you, Dennis.
Thanks, Dennis.
Alrighty, have a great day. Remember, we got a swamp to drain, so let's get to work.
So join us. Join the Convention of States movement and help save our republic. This is the answer. We all know Washington's broke. Step up for liberty now. We have a three-part platform at the Convention of States. We want to impose fiscal restraints on the federal government. It's a nice way of saying balance the budget. We want to limit the power and jurisdiction of the federal government. We also want to place term limits on all the people in Congress, all officials, even in the Supreme Court. If 4 years is good enough for the president, it's good enough for all of them. So join up now. Make a difference. These videos are brought to you by you and me. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, like this video, and share it. You can join the adventure at patreon.com/Captain Dennis and help me out. And you can see more about COS at DennisDarragh.com/COS.